Oh yeah, come on in. You're my 2 o'clock. Yeah, great. I'm just cleaning up a little bit from the last clients that were here. You can have a seat right there. Yes, they're going for a castle on a cloud sort of theme. So they've got this, I don't know, organza, this drapey fabric. And then this is going to go over some of the windows and some decorative columns. So they don't want it to be a plain column. And then they're going to tie these big bows, these oversized bows, around, just as an accent. It's just one of the ideas that I had for them. But yeah, that's Castle on a Cloud. So what can I help you design today for your upcoming nuptials? Okay, so this is just going to be more of a traditional wedding and ceremony, and then the reception's going to be indoors in a hotel. Okay, so have you already booked the hotel ballroom? Okay, and you have a wedding planning book. Oh, well, I'm so happy to hear that. Well, I'm here to help fill in any of the gaps, and then offer guidance and support on whatever else you might need. Okay, let's see that book. Oh dear. Should I use 2 hands? It's pretty hefty. All right. Wow, so you've got the Easy Wedding Planner, Organizer, and Keepsake. So is it okay if I make notes in here as well, or would you prefer that I make notes on my own pad here? Okay, that's fine. Easy Wedding Planner, Organizer, and Keepsake. And they even made that lowercase cursive Z look correct here. So this is unique and inspirational ideas for the wedding of your dreams. And the wedding of your dreams is traditional hotel ballroom, carpeted. We'll come back to that. Wow, and so this edition is the 2000 edition. So you got it on sale because it's 2001 now. And then when is the wedding? October 2002. Okay. So we're a little more than a year out here. That's good. And what's the theme? We're just gonna call it traditional hotel ballroom. So you've already got that weekend booked at the hotel ballroom. There's a lot of other considerations, and we'll see what you need help filling out here and how I can assist. So you've got me, the wedding consultant. I'll just fill in my information here. Got the ceremony site. Now, is the ceremony going to happen in the hotel ballroom as well? Okay. So outside. So there's like a veranda. Okay. And is everyone supposed to bring their seats out and then back in, or will there be other seats? Because you might have to rent those ahead of time if they don't have them at the hotel. Okay. rental seats. Now the caterer, is that going to be handled by the hotel? You've got a friend that's going to do it. Okay. Now sometimes that can work, where you've got a friend who maybe has access to a commercial kitchen. They're just going to do this out of their home. Okay. That can be a little bit tricky, especially when we're talking larger guest numbers. So let me back up. How many guests? 200 invited. We're looking at roughly 3/4 of that'll be able to attend. Now, do you have a backup list of invitees that if you get some no's from the first 200, you might invite some other folks? Okay. So we'll err on the higher side of 180. Okay, so cooking for 180 people is really quite an undertaking. So does your friend know that? And have they done it before? Okay. Now, you'll have someone doing the beverage service there, and that's through the hotel. Okay. Okay. Those are some of the main things. You want to have your date, number one. Obviously, potential person that you're going to get married, that's number one. Then the date, then the location which you have, and then catering is coming up quickly after that. So those are the most important ones. Now, getting into some more specifics here, I see you've got a little piece of paper. What's this about? Okay. So you want to get the ring bearer a personalized soccer rules engraved piggy bank because they like soccer. Okay, that's a nice gift. Really adds a special touch to recognizing their participation in your ceremony. So that's great. I'm going to put this back in here. Okay. So this is ceremony and the attire. Now, what are you thinking for the dress? Now this one's got a big bow. I'm seeing a lot of nice veils. Flower girls, garter belts. Oh. Well, this one's certainly stunning. Yeah. So something like that. Now, I can't help you out too much with attire, but you've got an appointment at David's Bridal. That's right. I'm sure if you bring the book, they can find something similar that'll work for you. And then you've got your fiancé already looking for the right tuxedo. Find out something nice. And I think because it's outside, it doesn't have to be anything too formal or too long of a train like some of these. Yeah, I think this powder blue color for the bridesmaids is very flattering on a lot of different body types, hair colors, skin tones. So you're thinking something like that. Now, the officiant. Do you have someone in mind to officiate the service? Okay. Now, you've got a friend doing the officiating too. Okay, and has this friend already gotten their certifications in order and be ordained? Okay. They did it online. Oh, I haven't heard of that yet. Okay. So you can do that over the internet, like the AOL. Wow. Okay, so they're all set. So it sounds like you've got your officiant. That's going to save you a little bit of money. The price range, you know, from $1 to $250. Yeah, the gratuity. Thinking about some discretionary money. Price range about $25 to $250. Oh, the guest book. Okay, so as part of the ceremony, obviously you have this book, but a separate guest book. So you have a friend making the guest book? Oh. Okay, so it's like a regular notebook, and then they are putting some fabric over top of it. And there's going to be a photograph of you and your fiance. Okay. Good. So I saw the ring bearer. You already had a gift in mind, so I know you've got one. So did you want to have a pillow made, maybe by the same friend, or is that something you want to purchase? It's a small pillow, and then, you know, they go down the aisle with it. Okay. So you want to put it inside of a soccer ball, and then have that child kick it down the aisle. Okay, well, a quick question for you then. You mentioned the ceremony would be outside. Is it up high, or is there a way that that ball might get away from the ring bearer and then be kicked out onto a street, or perhaps go over the side of a balcony? No. Okay. Just wondering. Flower girls. Okay. So you'd usually have a traditional flower or rose petal. Sometimes they can do like a paper item, something that isn't going to be difficult to clean up. You could just kind of sweep it. Okay. I don't think that would be a very good idea. So you thought you'd have the leftover shrimp cocktail tails, and they would just take those and shrimp. I feel like that's not the best idea. I like how interesting it is, but if you were to do that, it might attract ants as well as other pests. And then when you're coming down the aisle afterwards, they might get caught up in your train or other parts of your dress and become pretty odorous. So I don't know if that's a great idea. Perhaps you could consider going with something a little bit more traditional in a flower petal. Okay, just something to think about. Ceremony site comparison. So you've already chosen the site, so we can skip over this. These are things to think about, though. The rehearsal, you've got accessible parking, liability. I assume you asked about number of guests. Okay. Then you've got some ceremony reading selections here. I don't see anything written down yet. You know, there's always the most popular Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, if you can't think of anything else. Okay, so I'm not familiar with that. So you want to do the movie Pulp Fiction, a scene from that. And then who's going to be reading it? The the officiant fella? Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. But it sounds like you've already decided on that. Okay. No, you're both going to act it out. Okay. Interesting. Then music selections. So for ceremony music, you have the prelude. So that's before everything starts. Now, of course, you've got your wedding march. Okay. Now, you want to do the processional and the bride's processional. You want to do one song, and it's just the final countdown. Okay. Well, making sure that you have that CD or cassette tape available. If there's not a piano player already, and then if there is someone playing piano, making sure you've got that music piece for them so that they can play that. And then the recessional, I'm not familiar with that either. You've got the touch from Transformers. I haven't seen that, but good. So you could fill this out. And then vows. That's really for you and your fiance to fill out and think about. Okay. This is all for pew seating arrangements. You'd have to have this complete. So since you don't have pews, since this is going to be outside of the hotel ballroom on the veranda, just coming up with a plan. Maybe you've got a sign that says, groom's family on this side, bride's on, there's traditional options there, but it doesn't sound like this is super traditional, even though I thought you said it would be a traditional hotel ballroom wedding. Now, these are some unique wedding ideas, so I can see where this might be of interest to you. Okay, it says right here you can incorporate poetry or literature into your readings. So it sounds like you're sort of doing that with the Pulp Fiction movie. You could drink something from a loving cup to symbolize bonding. And Mondo, like the drink in the squeeze bottle. And then you'll stand across from one another and then squeeze it and hope that you're able to drink it. I think that's not a great idea, because if the pressure's off, you're going to end up squeezing what's most likely a colorful liquid all over your gown, and that could be kind of messy to clean up. So, okay. This mentions burning incense to give the ceremony an exotic feeling. You'd have to talk to the hotel about that. Really, the candles, anything that ignites, they're going to need to be made aware of that. And, you can ask a friend or family member with a musical talent to perform at the ceremony. And you're planning to do that. Yeah, do tell. That's interesting. Now, I've heard of Weird Al. So this isn't Weird Al, but this is a different friend of yours who does an impersonation. Okay. And it's not a Weird Al original song, but he'll be doing A Whole New World with a romantic song. But it's a whole new wedding, and there's like a parody in there, but it's not about being a mermaid. Okay. So they know to bring their accordion with them the day of. So they're set up for success there. Mhm. Personalized vows. Okay, so the gown stuff, again, this is going to be more for you to take this book with you to David's bridal. There's just so many different options in terms of materials and colors, lengths, fits. Corsage, semi-formal. You know, when keeping track of the budget, though, making sure, you know, you've got money for the alterations in there. It's probably not going to come off the rack at David's bridal and be a perfect fit. So, ooh, gloves, accessories. You're thinking fingerless leather gloves and a mauve. Okay, because you could wear those later. I like how practical that sounds. Okay. And then makeup artist. If I had to guess, do you have a friend that's going to be doing your makeup? One thing I'd recommend is to do a trial run if you haven't already. This can be for a couple of reasons. Number one, you want to make sure you like how it looks and be able to give that feedback if you're looking to have some things changed. The other very important reason is if you've got any sort of sensitivities or allergies, you want to make sure that the products that your friend is using aren't going to give you an unsightly rash or cause any swelling the day of. Groom's wear. Okay. Okay. Now, in terms of photography, do you have a photographer in mind? No. So everyone's going to be the photographer. So you're just going to get a whole bunch of those disposable cameras. Okay. And you're going to put them out at the tables. Well, what about beforehand so folks can take pictures of the ceremony? You're going to have one friend do that, okay? That can work. I think sometimes when you do the photos with the camera, it is important to, one, make sure folks know how to use the flash. You have to charge them up a bit. You usually hold down a button. Then you see that it turns red or green, whatever it may be. It's an indicator. Then you know you're ready to take flash photography. And you're going to need folks to know how to work that, especially being in an indoor setting in a hotel ballroom, especially if this is in October, going into the, 5, 6 o'clock hour. The sun's going down, so you're going to need to have the flash set. Otherwise, you're going to end up with just a bunch of grainy pictures that you just can't really tell what's going on. Well, just know that if you've got some options that you could set up some nice portraits with that friend. I love this glowy look here. And look, these kids they've got the camera. This is more of a beach setting. Things can get a little windy. Oh, the staircase. So, yeah, sometimes if you want to get a lot of people in the shot, right, you set them up on the staircase. Everyone's on a different stair. You, as the bride, you're going to be on the top stair. Okay? Then everyone cascades down. It's just a fun way to set up some nice photos. And you can do a fun one. These folks have their sunglasses on. I don't know if there's a gazebo, but something to consider. Okay, so it doesn't look like you've got too much to touch on there. Stationery. Okay. There's a lot to choose when it comes to stationery. I would go, if you're getting these done at the local stationery and gift supply store. You got to go to their books. I don't have a lot of examples to show you here, but they would have tons of books. You can flip through different paper weights, textures, all of that. So you've got some ideas? Okay. So you're going to homemade paper. Okay. Yeah, I've done that before, just as like a craft. But you're inviting a number of guests, so that's a lot of homemade paper. It's a lot of pulp that you've got to, put in the blender and then dry out. There are stationery options that have that same look that are going to be quite as much work. So just an idea. And then you get them printed and it's just so easy. So, okay. Reception. Very important. Now this kind of looks like a hotel ballroom situation here. So now they've gone all out. And they've got a number of fabrics draping down. Looks so romantic. I guess that brings me to colors. What are your color themes? Okay, puce and brown. I think that can work. It's different. Maybe consider adding in a sage green to that color palette, or even an ivory to kind of balance out the puce and the brown. And then flowers. Actually, let's skip over flowers for now. Coming back to stationery. This has a section in here where you need to get all of your addresses in order, if you haven't already done that yet. Now, that means you're calling, parents, relatives, getting aunts and uncles, all those folks, trying to find all of their addresses. Unless you already have your Rolodex all organized. I didn't think so. Okay. Oh, okay. Hors d'oeuvres. So what was going to be on that menu, by the way, for your friend that's going to be cooking? Well, I love baked potatoes too. It's 200, baked potatoes. Okay, but it'll be like a bar. So you go with your baked potato, and it's like a buffet. Put the cheese, sour cream, salt, pepper, bacon bits. Is that going to be fresh bacon that's just made and chopped up, or actual bacon bits? Because that's not real bacon. Good. It's a special occasion, so I would do real bacon. It's just me. But there are some people that are vegetarian, so maybe have the canister of bacon bits just in case. And then a side salad, Caesar, okay. And then the baked potatoes, the main entree. We'll have a chicken dish. What were you thinking for the cake? Now I have this out here. You've got a friend that's going to be making the cake. Okay. Yeah, I've got some of my options. I was just showing the last client here the 8-inch round, sort of the different tiers, right? Are you thinking about doing the 3 tiers? Oh, well, this This one's kind of fun and kooky, so this might be up your alley. You seen that? Look. They've got the fondant, the little shapes. It's different colors and things. This one's basically like polka dot. It's got a nice texture. Your friend's just going to surprise you? Well, okay. If you trust them, I think that could work. But, you know, making sure they know they have to get it to the hotel ballroom, you know, in one piece without it falling over. And then will they be cutting and serving as well? Okay. Now, do you want to have everyone stop to watch you cut the cake? And then maybe they take a picture with the disposable camera. Because this could be a nice picture. Okay, you'll think about it. Sure. Then, coming back to decorations, the puce brown, considering adding an ivory or a sage green, flowers. Did you want to do like a floral arch just for the ceremony, having some florals at the tables? Okay, you're just going to buy plants in a pot, tie a bow around it, and then I'm just going to tell people to take it home with them when it's time to go. Well, I think that would make for a nice part of a centerpiece, but maybe considering adding some other elements. Look, they've got shells here and a beautiful sort of a silk wrapped around the candles, gifts, plates. Now, how are you going to handle the table settings if you don't have a caterer? Okay, so chinette. So the clear kind, but it holds up well. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to skimp on that. And do you want to have a bouquet? Lots of bouquet options. I love the bouquet that makes a nice round ball, sort of a shape for the bridesmaids. For yourself, you could have something a little more dramatic. Oh, interesting. So it's not a Halloween wedding, but you're going to have a little trick-or-treating pail, and then you'll have some flowers and things spilling out of it. Okay. All right. Boutonnieres. Boutonnieres will just be Little Debbie snack cakes. Again, you don't want to attract ants and things, okay? Just for safety. Sounds like you're going to save a lot of money on flowers and corsages. I mean, even if you just considered a carnation or two, it's very affordable. You can find them any time of year in plenty. You don't want to just look through here. Let's just take a peek. Let's take a peek. Allium, that's fun. Lilies, I don't know if that works for this time of year or October. Baby's breath. Baby's breath is a great choice. I love belly buttons. Now, belly buttons aren't puce per se, but I think they could look nice. Callas. What about a Gerber daisy? Just a couple of Gerber daisies here and there. Gladiolas. No. An orchid or two. Peonies. Maybe just a rose. next to the boutonniere Little Debbie snack, something like that. Okay. Oh, that's right. You've got your application for the marriage license. You need to get that filled out sooner than later, because you don't want to forget about it. Then it's like, did you even ever get married? Because it wasn't on the piece of paper. So you have that signed. You've got your officiant. That's also witnessing. Signing and witnessing. And then you got to send it in. Okay. Transportation. So these are fun, like a convertible or something you pull up to the hotel in. You're going to be staying at the hotel, so you don't really need a ride, okay? And then you'll stay there overnight. Got it, got it. Okay. Ah, the carriage, though. It's really romantic. Transportation. Oh, music. Now, were you going to be doing a live band or a DJ? Okay. So you've got your friend that's doing the Weird Al covers, parody songs. Okay. And then a DJ. Okay. Is your friend going to do it? Okay. This is a different friend. You don't want to overstretch someone too much, right? Well, have they done it before? Because there's also the playing of the songs, but you have to have someone that knows how to be a master of ceremonies, right? The MC. So it's important that they know how to get people out on the dance floor, letting folks know when the baked potato bar is available. Making sure they know the right time to play shouts, parts 1 and 2, okay? And ideally, they have a microphone. And when it says a little bit softer now, they're getting low to the ground to indicate to others that they should also be getting low to the ground. And then they come back up and it builds, okay? Because you don't want to have someone that doesn't know how to execute the wedding shout dance to its maximum ability. That's all I'm saying. Okay. There's some other traditions in here. The something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Do you have those items? Something old, some blue cheese. Guess that's been aged. Something new. A cassette single of Counting Blue Cars. I don't think that's that new. That song's been out for a while, actually. Something borrowed. A blue anklet. So it's like a bracelet for your ankle. And then something blue. You're just going to listen to the song, Counting Blue Cars. That's going to count for 2. Okay. All right. Well, other things to look through here. But I think we've got most other things covered. Some do's and don'ts. Don't overspend. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It seems like you're being pretty budget conscious. Don't try to impress your friends. I think they'll be pretty impressed with a baked potato bar that has real fresh bacon bits. This says don't rely on friends or family to photograph or videotape your wedding. Hire professionals. Okay. And then don't arrive late to the ceremony. So, trying to be on time. There's a couple of shopping options here. You've got the garters galore. Now, are you going to pause everything and then have the groom take the garter off and then toss it? No. Okay, well, people will be disappointed, but I think that's your choice. That's your choice. Pillows in here, extravagant gifts. Oh, and then little champagne flutes. They say bride and groom. That's how you know whose is whose. I think you're on a roll here. You've got some business cards set aside. Take a look at the gifts if you want to do that, but I think you're on a good roll. We'll check in another couple of months, but you've got some time. And let me know if I can help you with anything before then, okay? Here's your book.